Well, you're probably wondering why I have my Australian hat on. Well, it is so hot here in the middle of May that I just had to put it on. We're going to talk about tools. These tools are mainly for grade 5 graduating and grade 6, but we use them obviously in grade 8 and grade 7 as well. So here we go. Let's talk about a C-clamp. Everyone should know where I keep my C-clamp, and we hold jigs down, especially on the bandsaw. So you got to know where these are, and you should know what they're called, a C-clamp. We have a Jorgensen clamp, and on the videos that you've seen that we use these for small pieces to be drilled, again, on the drill press. Moving on here, we have 3 different types of squares. This one here is called a bevel square. We use it for odd angles, and you can see I can copy any odd angle I want. So if I want to have the angle of this sawhorse, for instance, I can just put it down on here. I can bring it up, and that's the angle I need to cut. So it's very handy, especially probably more for grade 7, 8, but we use it in grade 6 as well. Here we have a bench square. I like the longer ones. We have two lengths. We have a shorter one, and then we have the longer one. Bench squares, they make just 90-degree angles. One that I try to promote as much as I can in here, again, probably more for the grade 7 and 8s, is that we have a sliding square, and the sliding square mainly has a 90-degree angle and a 45. We use a 45-degree angle quite a bit in grade 8, so this tool is used an awful lot in grade 8. Carrying on, we have a crescent wrench. Now, it is surprising when we have to use a crescent wrench. Sometimes things just work loose, and I'm thinking again of the column on the drill press. It gets loose, and once in a while I have to secure it quite tightly, and it's usually good for probably a year. So it's called a crescent wrench. We have a needle nose pliers, which come very in handy when we want to use a hammer. We have a claw hammer we're going to use in a second, but I grab the little finishing nail, because they're small, with this, and then I take my hammer, and then I can take that and drift it into the softwood. Can't go into hardwood. Hardwood will just bend it over. It's got to be in the softwood. And when I use my claw hammer, I should have my thumb on it for power, or I choke up and I put my index finger. And that's how you should be working, mainly for toys. And we do a lot of toys in grade 6 and 7. So that is a needle nose, that is a claw. Now, something that we use quite a bit in grade 6 is we use files. And the main one we use probably 90% of the time is called a half round. So the back is half round, and then the bottom is absolutely flat. And again, we use it mainly for softwood, and this is a coarse grit. They come in fine as well and medium, and I find that they just speed things up sometimes from sandpaper. Another thing we have is an adjustable pliers, and these are old-fashioned, but it's surprising how many times I have to loosen things off. When do I mainly use these? When I'm taking the lids off of cans for finishing, like Watco oil cans, where it says childproof. Well, this big child can never loosen it, so I have to cheat a little bit and put this on and loosen it this way. I'm sure parents know what I'm talking about. And then we have 3 different types of screwdrivers. There are way more than this in the world, but for finishing, for what we are at, we're just hobbyists, is that you have a Phillips, and you can see it just looks like a cross. If you looked at it from this view right here, it would be a cross shape. And Phillips, you'll see a lot with electrical appliances. Now, we also have a Robertson, which is my favorite. Robertson is square, and you can have a lot of torque on this. I really like it. And of course, you have the standard old flat ones, which again, for really fancy screws, I like using the flathead, because you can line them up north or east-west, north-south or east-west, the actual screws, and it looks really sharp, especially on things like a jewelry box. Okay, just about finished here. We talked about this previously. This is a bench hook, and we just put that up against our table, and now we can bang on it with nails. We can screw, we can drill holes, whatever wood we have, and of course we can use it for sawing. And I've gone through this before. We take the saw and the wood, and we can just saw back and forth right here. And this is quite a large saw, and this one here is a combination, and so it's like a cross cut and rip saw. Now, we just use little bench saws, but again, I'm at home, I'm not at school. I don't have all the tools here at home. I usually work on using my different types of blades that I put in my jigsaw. I love my jigsaw, or my bandsaw. Okay, that takes care of all the different types of tools that we use for grade 6 and some of them from grade 7, 8. Now stay tuned for Mr. Green's famous woodwork joke, and it just follows this video. Have a good day.